And I was hoping to bring the anti-bribery policy as well today. I've deliberately held that back because when I started to do the work on it, there's not a lot of overlap now in the guidance around anti-bribery and counter-fraud. And there wouldn't be point in doing one policy that then overlaps with the next policy that's in the process for review. So I'm going to look to weave those together, but money laundering is different. So I've brought this one before you today. The previous policy was last reviewed in 2018. It was a fundamentally fine policy. A lot of the legislation hasn't changed significantly since we last reviewed it. But I think some of the things we see as being money laundering risks change. When the money laundering regulations first came in, there was sort of an impression what we were dealing with was people that were coming to pay their council tax bill with a large bag containing cash, and we'd be going, well, where did you get your cash from? Whereas actually the sort of things we come up against and experience. So really, you know, when you've got officers out visiting food and business premises and they think, well, that's a bit strange. How have they got all this stock and they seem to be making a lot of money and there's no customers in the shop? So they're the sorts of scenarios that actually are the reality of the money laundering we see. And it's really worth emphasising in the policy and into the subsequent guidance and training we'll provide staff about our role is primarily to be alert to those risks, to make sure that we employ the red lines and say no when we have to, but equally when we are aware there might be a risk, that we then report it to the money laundering reporting officer, who then submits the report to the relevant agencies so they can build a picture of intelligence around that. So this report is asking for you to adopt the revised anti-money laundering policy.
Any questions? Councillor Bannister.
Yeah, thank you very much, Leah, for the report, and obviously it makes great sense. My only questions in respect of the disclosure that if any employee or member of the council got these suspicions, they submit a report to the money laundering reporting officer, which I think is you good self. Oh, it's a 151 officer, right? Yes. And there doesn't seem to be anything in the policy about informing either the cabinet or full council about the number of reports. In the past, there were reports made about RIPA applications, for example, that were given to possibly this committee from memory. And I'm just wondering whether anything similar could be done so that members themselves are aware in general terms about whether or not there have been any reports and whether or not there have been any subsequent prosecutions as a result of those reports. It's just a question of informing members of the council as to the activities, however modest that they may be within the district. Is that something that you might want to add to this policy, or do you think it's covered elsewhere?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, potentially we could do a periodic report on the number of money laundering reports we've had. I don't think we've had any in the distant past. I think the general policy is around things like RIPA and money laundering report type items. We reflect that into the annual governance statement, albeit I'm not sure how explicit that is. So we could either do something here or we could look at a paragraph in the governance statement. I don't mind which approach you'd like to take.
Okay, thank you, Lee. Councillor Bannister.
Equally, I don't mind which approach it's taken, provided that members are made aware via the cabinet or through the annual governance statement. But if it's taken on board, that's great. That's the only issue that I have with an excellent report and policy. Thank you.
Right. So we leave that to the officers to make a decision. Right. So long as everywhere's necessary. Thank you, Leah. Right.
Chair and committee, I've just consulted with our money laundering reporting officer who feels it makes sense to put it into the AGS.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. The anti-bribery report policy.
I'm hoping to bring that and counter fraud to April, but it will just depend on other workloads and priorities in the next few weeks.
Okay, thank you very much. Right, any other questions, comments? Councillor James.
Just one, Chairman. In the policy, the third party businesses, we talk about the national risk, particularly highlighting barber saloons, nail parlours, car washes and vape shops. And we've got all of those in our district, quite a few in this town. Is there a responsibility for our environmental health to focus on those a bit, do we think?
Go on, Liv.
I think the challenge we always have is there's a range of different reasons and priorities why we might engage with the business. So we have some statutory responsibilities, as you say, with environmental health, with licensing, with Health and Safety at Work Act as well. So what we're trying to do is promote that if you are going out and visiting and seeing these properties and you see things that make you suspicious, then do the report rather than necessarily visiting reports because you are visiting premises because you are suspicious of that activity. That's more appropriate for the police or trading standards to be doing in the first instance. It's just we might see something which helps them with their intelligence picture.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Thank you, Leah.
Thank you, Councillor James. Right, are there any other comments? Do we have any? Councillor Brennan.
Going back to the 2023, 24, 24, 25 disclaim. Will this be reported to the finance portfolio holder and leader? Because they both have responsibility in this area and they may want to, I don't know, have reports how it's progressing.
Yeah, so through my regular reporting to the portfolio holder for finance, I'm giving the rest of this. And if you wanted to go and have a look at the last cabinet meeting, or maybe the one before, I did do a big where they do a presentation down there at the start now, and I did a big essay effectively for Councillor Knight to read out about finance and what was going on. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry, I've missed something here. We have to approve the anti-money laundering policies. I require a councillor to suggest that we approve that. Okay, Councillor Austin, seconded by Councillor Bannister. Those in favour of approving, it's unanimous. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, any other urgent business at this point then? Councillor Austin.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I just wanted to say a big thank you to our auditing people and obviously our S151 officer who obviously had to deal with a lot of historic financial reckonings, and we just like to say thank you for the work that you do, and hopefully we'll get it all sorted out very soon. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. I would like to echo that. I'd like to thank the officers for their expertise in dealing with some of the difficult questions. I'd like to thank the internal and external auditors for their thoroughness and their answering the questions this evening. So thank you very much indeed, and holding this to account. And I'd like to thank the councillors for their questions as well. So, and having read all of these reports, and the officers who supported me directly. So thank you very much, everybody. Safe journey home. Right. Oh, the meeting is now closed. Yeah.